2 weeks without Sun Devil football has turned into 3, with yesterday's announcement that this week's matchup against Utah has been canceled. Zach here for DevilsDigest.com, and to be honest, I'm not really sure if I can make sense of it all at this point. But I know someone who can.
How we handle this, this what I call in life, how you navigate all this, the inconvenience of life, how you look at it, where do you go from here? And I said the great thing is that we actually went on the field today. And that's all we can control.
Herm Edwards spent 12 days in quarantine after a positive COVID test before ASU's game against Cal. The subsequent events were kept under wraps, but Edwards shared his experience of the time in isolation.
It was a lot of reflection. Was answering a lot of calls, by the way, from people. You know, it's kind of funny. You had a virus and people are calling you and texting you. And I spent half the day just returning texts and calls, you know. And the first thing they ask you, they go, "How you doing?" I say, "How do you think I'm doing? I'm sitting in a room. I ain't doing real good right now, right?" I told my wife when we first started this deal, I said, "You know what? I'm probably going to catch it." I was well aware of that. I knew exactly what I was walking into. And I did everything possible not to do it. The people that were getting in contact with me was just overwhelming. And you forget about how many friends you really have and people you know in your life, right?
The effects of the pandemic on college football will be long-lasting. Among the most important for Edwards includes the way that recruiting will change in the future.
This recruiting thing all of a sudden is going to change dramatically. There's a new way of recruiting. It is almost like the NFL. There's a draft and then there's free agency. The portal will open free agency. So now all of a sudden the numbers you have to give scholarships, you got to ask yourself, you know, I'm looking at both sides now.
The number of positive tests on the team was not disclosed, but the season will continue. The team's remaining goals are to win what games are left, while involving the younger players who haven't had many chances to play yet.
We started something, and you have to finish it. You have to finish things in life, regardless of what it looks like. You can't quit. You don't get to tap out. That's never an option. It's never been an option my whole life. You don't get to do that, because then things become easy. Then it becomes, when it's hard, well, I'm gonna tap out, because it doesn't matter. It matters.
Even without a game, Edwards sees this week as a turning point for the program in resuming the season and moving on.
How do you lead when there's controversy and all these things happen, right? You don't panic. I think you folks have watched me long enough now on how I handle myself on the sideline during the football game. There's a lot of different things that happen. But I think the players understood that coach won't panic. He'll have a plan. We'll have to adjust, because he always talks about adjusting. And then we're going to move forward. And we're not going to dwell on what has happened. We're going to move forward on what we can do.
If you're looking for some good news, ASU basketball returns tonight. The women against Stephen F. Austin at home, and the men in the 2K Empire Classic against University of Rhode Island. Both games tip off at 5 p.m., and for all your pre, during, and post-game coverage, keep it locked in to DevilsDigest.com and give us a follow on Twitter @Devils Digest. Have a happy Thanksgiving and stay safe.